Hey everybody, this is Joshua with Communitas Christi, checking in on this beautiful March spring day, 2024. Um, Making this video, I've taken a break from trying to make videos. I've struggled a lot because I see the world as a kind of whole, statistical whole, and I keep making videos towards the masses because inspired. My videos are about my calling, and my calling is about helping the whole of humanity in the best way that I see and know how. And the problem with that is that the majority of people don't want the kind of solutions or alternative ways of thinking that I'm open to. And that means that to make videos, which I feel is pertinent to attempting to fulfill my calling, I'm basically making my videos in a contentious manner. I'm making videos for people that are going to be resistant, to say the least. And I've finally had a nice epiphany and revelation because of meditation and focusing on my problem at hand. And I finally realized that I don't need to make those videos. Um, I'm gonna leave what videos I have up. I've already deleted a couple for content. Nothing too bad, just kind of like a darker vibe that I don't want to have up here on my channel long term. I believe I'm gonna leave the rest of the videos up at this time because they're going to remind me of where I came from. And you know, I don't know, maybe hopefully if everything works out, one day this channel may spawn a new channel or something. I don't know. I don't see what's wrong with uh, just keeping this channel going. And I don't think I said anything too crazy in past videos, but it doesn't matter because we need to transcend that to begin with. That's one of the biggest problems with humanity, is thinking that we're ever going to live in some kind of homogeny of personality and opinions. And more importantly is that we should. Like, that doesn't make any sense. We don't need to. I just got caught up on a pricker bush over there. We don't need to, we don't want to, and we shouldn't desire to live in that kind of environment because variety, like, what if you just had to have the same meal forever? Or what if you had to watch only one play? Or you could only listen to one song? You know? We get really caught up in our perception about things, and we think living with different people and different opinions is so much more different than having a variety of foods to eat around. And it's really not. It's the same thing. There's a benefit to all of it, and and there's a downside to everything, including some of your strongest opinions. There's going to be a downside too. It's just the nature of life. And if not today, then give it time. And that's just the nature of life. That's just how things are on this plane and in this world. So, making this video for the people that are willing to transcend, willing to look at the way they live, and are willing to open up their hearts and spirits to a better way of living, and maybe people that are humble enough to realize they don't know everything, and even if they know more than most, they still like the idea of having a variety of thoughts and ideas around, because variety is the that's what makes life so awesome to begin with. So I say that to say this: anything that we're going to do productively, we're going to have to start with being civilized towards each other. One of my biggest principles and part of my calling is to allow that people within a community, like, this is just a principle I believe in regardless, but it definitely applies to a community, towards optimization of living together as a people, is everybody has a right to kind of figure out and associate with the divine on their own terms. And that includes agnostic, and that includes atheists, but I think I can dissuade most atheists into agnosticism, uh, mainly from deconstructing some of the principles that are foundational to atheism more than proving anything else exists to them. But that doesn't matter. Atheists would be welcome, especially, dude, if you're a good person, you got a good heart, you got some skills to bring to the table, then, welcome home. That's what this is all about, is spreading open the doors as wide as possible and bringing people together under basic unity of humanity. Like, I bleed red, you know? I don't want anything more to happen to my loved ones than I want to happen to your loved ones. And I personally, I do everything. Maybe it's a luxury of doing everything myself, fixing things. I just fixed my second planned obsolescent coffee grinder in my life. The first one was funner. It ended up with a automotive fuse hanging out the side because it had a little inline 10 amp, and so I added 2 wires, drilled 2 holes, and hung the replacement fuse off the side of the container. Um, Anyways, as a luxury, being able to fix and take care of things, maybe then I think that I don't want children working with suicide nets, you know, and I don't need that. Like, whatever down quality, downgrade, I don't need the earth being tore up on account of, extra sensors in a washer machine, or, features on a car that nobody asked for, you know. Honestly, I need a car that's going to last, and a life that doesn't require so much driving. And, we can have, and this is kind of my calling, the point of it is we can have an amazing life here on earth together. And even, even on a small scale, like in smaller groups, because ultimately, the nature of human interaction is we don't need a bunch of people. We don't need too many people all at one time in one space. There's nothing wrong with like cities, but they'd be a lot better without all the present structures, social structures, capitalism and classism and all that stuff. Like a big single focused, uh, you know, like a city dedicated to some dedicated to a specific purpose. Like basically a big open air campus, global campus. Maybe you take something like New York City and dedicate it to oceanographic research or something like that. And then, modernize it, convert it over to more eco-sustainable power sources, food sources, all that kinds of stuff. But I'm not making this video about New York City. I'm not even making this video to really make a change. I'm making this video to reach out to like-minded people, to say that you're not alone, you're not crazy, the rest of the world is. We're doing it absolutely insane. The most of the quote rich people and powerful people are literally neither powerful. Some of them are downright unhealthy and weak. And pretty much the wealthiest people that are being rewarded by capitalism literally can't morally justify the amount of money they're making in any moral system. And, I'll use an example, and people will argue this through technicalities. That's fine. Move on to other videos. I'm not even making this video for you. I'm talking to the people that see the reality. The only reality that is that at his age, there's no system where Warren Buffett, who now controls so much money that he literally can affect the entire market
He's so revered as a market guru that he can speak changes into the market. He can make subtle changes in the market. And I'm not saying he does any of this stuff, but this old man who almost any of the rest of us would be swept to the side by now, and society would be like, all right, grandpa, you hang out in the retirement center, your time's done. This man has got himself in a position where he can make decisions, but his decisions pull the strings on so much paper. What does that even mean? What does it mean to move paper, especially if you're not actually going to move anything? And he can move around some paper, make a decision, and because of the way the whole thing's rigged up, you're telling me, oh, he can make what a successful farmer makes in 1,000 years. Let's say the most a farmer's ever going to farm is 50 years. So basically, this man's capable of accomplishing in one phone call what a good farmer can make in 20 lifetimes. And now he has rights to 20 lifetimes worth of farmers' efforts. There's a word for that in some circles, specifically around card tables, and from my memory, specifically around spades tables. And basically what it looks like is everybody sitting there, and we're supposed to be playing with the same cards out of the same deck. And let's just say we are. Let's just say from a higher perspective, we're all being sent here with equal claim to everything, and equal claim to all the knowledge, and equal claim to the basic rights to just be, to just exist, and to think, and to be free, and to speak, and to feel, and to pray, and to worship. Let's just say everybody is arriving here as equal co-owners. So we're all sitting at the same table with the same deck. We've all been dealt the same amount of cards. And then luck of the draw, not in this system, but just genetics, just what time of the year, there's a bunch of factors that exist outside of this present system that are more standard. But luck of the draw, people get a different hand. Every hand's not the same. But then the principle that we're supposed to be living under in any moral version of this world would be that your outcome bases on how you play that hand and what cards you were drawn. A combination of those two. That would be a fair game. But sometimes people end up making more points than there are allowed by cards. Sometimes people, because they have control over the final record keeping, have figured out ways to take some of your points and put it on their side. And the crazy part about this system, besides its obvious totally unfairness, and it's almost tyrannical to even justify it or hold it up, the crazy part about this system is less you actually see the moment that this happens, you're done. You're going to lose the game, or you're barely going to win when you should have won by a lot. More importantly is you're going to continue spending real energy and real effort, and someone else is paper whooping you. So for the people that makes sense to, that could see a principle that the only kind of people that should probably lead are working leaders. Like, if you're not willing to get your hands dirty, I don't really care. You tell me how I should do something. I'll listen to consultation by people that are specialists, and like the soils like this, or the limitations of how many materials we have, or the strength of material, blah blah blah. Everybody who's put in their 1,000 hours, 10,000 hours, and that's their thing, I'll listen to them. about the specifics. But as far as my overall flow of effort goes, unless I'm under an apprenticeship situation, I don't need anybody managing all of it if they're not working side by side with me. And, you know, I don't want this to sound, it's not like I'm complaining. I'm really not complaining. It's not the point of what I'm trying to get at. The point of what I'm trying to get at is the positive revelation that if we take basic steps to give levels of freedom and respect to each other and make sure that we have good, uh, equitable, sharing with each other, looking out for each other. I mean, the reality is that if you get rid of the paper whoopers, the pencil whoopers, the paper whoopers, the people that are cheating, they're winning through non-production, not actually producing anything, not putting in real hard work. And they're, more importantly, I think in that paradigm, I got to add this to that scenario. It's not just that they're not putting in any work, it's that all of the value that they're taking out is based on real effort put in by some other human who is actually putting in work. You could say it's legal. You could say, oh, Josh, you can get $1,000, start from the bottom and study the market. It's like, I didn't say I wanted to be him. I don't want a world where anybody can make what an honest, hardworking producer who's doing something essential makes in 20 years. I don't think ever anybody is worth enough. There's no system that subjugates the real effort of the real person doing the real work and hands over 10,000 of these souls, their entire life's production, to these crazy wealthy people we have. And I'm not picking on Buffett specifically, but I'm just, he was my example before, so I'll throw him under the bus while I'm at it. But there's others that are up there that are real special. We don't need any of it. We don't need to have it anymore. It can all be over, but it starts with you. It starts with me making this video. It starts with you changing your perspective and what you want from this world and what you expect from this world. There is hope. There's definitely hope. I would say it's we're closing up. We're getting towards we're getting to crunch time a little bit here, but and even that's not bad. It's not what people think it is. My faith is showing me it's not what people think it is. But I guess a better metaphor is it's time to rip the Band-Aid off. And are you going to stay still and peaceful in faith? And are we going to do that and let our Father remove the old, the unhealthy, the smelly and dead? Are we going to let him remove it gently and softly, as he's told us for thousands of years? Or are we going to squirm and scream and hold on to our toys and our trinkets and force him to rip it off violently? I think that's where we're at. But I also think that you individually right now watching this are making the difference. You waking up,
you realizing that not only is this world probably not what most of you have thought for most of your life, the veil seems to be dropping quickly on all sorts of crazy information and thoughts and ideas. But more importantly, is you represent a center in this whole craziness. You represent a center, and not just you, but I do, and everybody else does. And we really, it wasn't like, oh, go do a 9 to 5 and go to work and pay your bills and taxes. Oh, and while you're doing all that, while you're serving Mammon, while you're serving the eagle, while you're serving the power structures that own the earth, that have sworn against humanity to destroy humanity and against our creative principle. While you do all that, treat other people nice. It's not what the golden rule meant. If your kid was out in the rain starving, you would do something about it. If you wake up and realize that your kid, just because they're born from somewhere else by someone else, in a different quote country or a different quote race, they're still your fucking child. And so the dictate is instructive on how to have peace on earth. But it starts with you. It starts with me. Do unto others. The most universal dictate. Just imagine. Just imagine if we loaded up a destroyer with food and farming supplies and we rolled up on our quote enemies like that. Just imagine. So for now, I'm going to leave this off in conclusion, is that it is far from hopeless. And what progress you make is yours to keep, regardless if this world of that we're looking at and we're experiencing has to pass away first. Your progress is your momentum moving forward regardless. So make it count. And if we've got any chance of redeeming ourselves on this plane and pulling ourselves out of this tailspin, the same exact thing is needed from you. Make it count. Sanctify yourself. Purify yourself. See humanity as a whole. We are one. So I know this video is already a lot longer than I was intending for, but hopefully I've got some good footage here and some good points made. Anyways, for now, I'm going to check out, sign off, and until next time, like, subscribe, comment, encourage me. Yeah, until next time, one love. Josh, signing out.